And I think other school divisions have been quoted as saying it's not a matter of kids are going to play, it's when.
Sure.
It's not a matter of do we want them to play. That's not the question at hand. It's when.
Cross our fingers for these vaccines, right?
Right. We're close.
Wouldn't it be a shame to be so close with the vaccine and things? And get people sick.
Sure.
That's my dilemma.
And I wish the decision was just play basketball or don't play basketball. It'd be a lot easier. But it's play basketball here or let them keep playing basketball somewhere else.
What time is the, what is this season like? How many weeks do you have left of this winter season?
To answer your first question, complete and total chaos. I have 2.5 weeks left of regular season. However, we do have an all-in region tournament, which everyone likes the March Madness dance, right? So there's
Middle school has 2 weeks left of their season 1.
James River, have they got 2.5 weeks left too, and they're quarantined for 14 days? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they found that today. I mean, but luckily they're playing for James River, where we can, they can hold them accountable and not, oh, I had a kid on my travel team test positive, let's replace him with another kid real quick. I mean, the good news is VHSL watches us very closely. Our first non-compliance issue is, I think, a $300 fine. But the second one is you lose your season. And I'm sure that gets noted for future issues that may occur. So we tread pretty lightly.
How many games?
For boys we have 10 games. For girls we've got 12 right now.
Left.
Yes, correct. And that is all 15 of those ADs that I've been scheduling with. They all understand that there's a chance that might not happen. So everyone's waiting for my email after my class tonight.
The middle school has 5 games left for boys and girls basketball. We're not going to have a wrestling season this year due to lack of interest. So we just have 5 games.
Who makes sure, we're in compliance with these mitigation techniques?
That's the thing that Lisa and Corey have done a great job of assigning responsibilities per person. VHSL's guidance was the school will, someone will. They actually went through line by line, and they said the athletic director will, blah, blah, blah. The head coach or his designee will, and we even made sign-up sheets so that everyone knows who's responsible for each of those entities. So if things aren't followed, there's a very clear finger to point.
We also have custodial check sheets for extra cleaning mitigation plans, so they have to sign off each day that they've checked everything that we've asked them to check for the cleaning of the restrooms or the facilities.
My coaches recognize this is a very fragile year.
So when does your fall season start?
Spring.
So season 2 starts
Season
the
2.
second week in February.
So February.
February 8th, 6th.
7th for football, and then everyone else is the 14th. Football has a different practice requirement before they can begin participation.
And our next board meeting is on February 15th. So if this were to fail tonight,
We're still behind the gun time-wise, depending on what you decide. I mean, time is not of the essence no matter what we do. This would, if we, depending on what your decision is, are we looking to go and look at the fall sports season starting middle of February, or are we changing, shifting gears, or looking at a different scenario for that?
It may not even require a meeting if those numbers shrink enough. I know that's a huge shot in the dark, but for sure every county in the red right now.
So, the main thing the board would need to vote on tonight would be A, to stay with the current agreement we have based solely on the metrics, or B, go with the new matrix that takes school impact and BDH CDC data.
I'm gonna repeat that one more time, so somebody could make a motion if they care to, off of what you just
Stay
said.
with the previous agreement, metrics data only, or go with the new matrix that bases on school impact as well as community transmission.
Stay with the,
And exit the agreement? 'Cause that's
We're the only ones still in it.
Oh.
But it
Oh,
only-
we're in an agreement with ourselves, right?
Salem's still kind of holding tight.
But it only uses school impact to determine level of play, not community transmission,
Which one?
the new one.
No, use both.
Because it says here,
One's on the left side, one's on the right
all
side.
right, but high community transmission, low school impact, that they're allowed. Sports, competition activities are allowed. So y'all be sure you know what this says.
You look for a motion, Jake?
Can we alter, can we adjust this if this is, so basically we're gonna go off, this is the extracurricular one, right? This is the one we would adopt.
That and then the school impact levels, you had the second data that's tied in with in-person instruction that DDH sent out. This sheet here,
Yeah. Yeah,
that tells you exactly what school
Yeah.
impact would be based on that. Or we maintain with what we currently have.
so like, this is a question, kind of. So like, using the new matrix, if you had low community transmission and then low school impact, it basically says, you have an event.
If we were right there, I'd expect all our kids to be in school 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Right.
But it says, fans allowed based on current state guidelines.
Yeah, you're still held to 25 until the governor lifts that, so.
Okay,
Right.
And
So
we're not
like-
having fans at all, period.
yeah.
And the new VDOE guidelines are for classrooms, not sports.
Yeah.
So let me be clear with that, because there's a difference there, what you can do in a classroom versus on a court.
Yeah, but isn't the extra,
Right.
CPS extracurricular, this is based on just extracurricular activities, right?
Sports, drama,
Yeah.
things like that.
So, like using that green one, the nice one, it says fans allowed based on current state guidelines. Like, even though they're low community transmission and low school impact, if you were to have a swim meet, I'm using swimming at the YMCA, if you ever been to a swim meet, even 25 people in that little pool is going to be like 200 people in that little pool. And you're still going to take a high risk of transmitting COVID in that little controlled environment. If somebody doesn't flip the switch on a ventilator, on the HVAC unit, it's going to be even worse. And so, this is why I encourage, having fans allowed in a swim meet may not be something you want to do, regardless if it's low community transmission or low impact, because each sport is a little bit different. It has its own risk, and I think, you got to mitigate it as best possible to try not to spread it or come into contact with
And
it.
actually, because of that, Mr. Martin's only swim meet on the 27th is virtual,
Okay.
again, with no fans.
So,
Oh, I wish we could shatter
and
it.
and I think that is probably the smartest thing you could have done. But, on the matrix that we're following here, it doesn't say, well, we're gonna do it virtual.
I didn't have enough paper to clear.
You know what I mean? And I know it would be kind of maybe challenging to do that for each sport, but I think that's the focus where we need to be, instead of writing a blank check for all of the sports to go by this. And that's what we're doing, we're writing a blank check, and that's why, I think we need to just focus on the first 3 sports we got, and let's revisit this in February and look at the other sports that it could.
I
don't know.
I understand, and I get that. We're done looking. We need to make a decision. We could scenario this to death
You're
for the
right.
next 3 weeks and still not be anywhere. Our parents and our kids deserve to be yay or nay. This has taken up a tremendous amount of time away from instruction and academics. I want the kids to play. I want them to do it safely. I want all of our kids and all of our staff and all of our students to not have any impact with that. But I can't promise you that's going to happen. But this needs to be resolved once and for all, because it's just time.
We took it off the clock.
So does that mean you want to make a motion, Gerald?
Yes, I would. I'd like to make a motion to leave it as it is, the current plan.
So my only question with that would be, if you say leave it the way it is, if a majority vote against it, we will be adopting the new plan?
That would be correct.
So if you want to let him play, we have to vote kind of like no in this situation, since he's voting
Right.
to keep it the way it is?
So if you are in favor of changing the plan, you would vote no to Gerald's motion.
Or
But-
second.
Anybody can second Gerald's motion, no matter which way you're going to vote. Just so we have a motion and a second.
So Gerald, you want to say your motion again, so everybody is on the same page?
I want to make a motion that we leave the plan that we have in place, not the new plan. But, right, Mr. Kelly?
And I'll second it.
So we have a motion by Mr. Franson and a second by Ms. Morgan to leave the current plan in place. So when members vote, if you want to change it to an amended plan, vote no. If you want to keep it the way it is, vote yes. Ms. Bess?
Mr. Franson.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Kern.
No.
Mr. Littleton.
Yes.
Ms. Morgan.
Yes.
Mr. Shaw.
No.
Mr. Wright.
So now we have trouble.
We have any,
My vote would make it a tie.
So your vote's no.
My vote is no. But
So
that,
the tie, the motion dies, and it will be brought up again at the next meeting.
correct.
We do not have a tiebreaker.
And I believe, since there's an absence, I may be wrong, that the supervisors can appoint someone just to vote on this issue at the next meeting. Just the issue, because it dies.
It dies and it automatically goes to the next regular meeting.
It does, but because there was a board member absent, I believe the supervisors can appoint one individual to vote in that person's absence at the next meeting.
well, what I'm going to tell our community as a whole, if there is one person that contacts Ms. Seconder in the condition she is in and her daughter is in, to try to convince her to vote on this matter, I would be in favor of shutting all sports down for the rest of the year.
And I would second it.
So I just want to make that very public, that I do not want anybody trying to get her involved in this.
Well, she wouldn't have to get involved in it. I mean, like I said, they can appoint a temporary person to come vote because a board member, one of us is absent.
I mean, I have no doubt that things will be different at the February 15th meeting. I feel like numbers will be different in our community. We'll be talking about different sports. I think that, we will have talked about a plan to get students back into school more, and I think it'll probably be a different world by that point.
I hope it is.
Yeah. And so, that ends that. Pretty much.
We'll be on the February agenda.
We'll be on the February agenda to go to season 2 athletics.